Hey there, www.andrewmarkmusic.com. Today we're going to be talking about the department of neoliberal capitalist spiritual now. Now, there might be different ways to name that, but we'll just leave it at that for this vlog. So the main theme of this video will be how these neoliberal capitalists co-opted a very profound spiritual experience and turned it into a mode of economic thinking. It's a type of projection or transference. So I guess I first have to touch on what now is within spiritual experience. It's a very profound state that one can attain or get into with various methods. I mean, the first one that you'll be aware of is deep sleep. So every night you're going to experience this sort of nowness or emptiness. It's not a perfect analogy, but it's close enough for the first example. Through various meditation techniques, one can experience a gap in thinking, and with practice, one can extend that period of gapness, if I can put it like that. So you experience this kind of empty space, and this has, some verifiable and empirical benefits for the human body mind, which I totally agree with. What I disagree with is, and before I go into my disagreements, I'll just finish up. So there's other ways that you can experience this. I mean, there's states of flow where you're so focused that your ego kind of disappears and you just become one with this experience, usually brought into experience by an intense focus or concentration. You may experience it through some kind of random accident, where you get a bump in the head and all of a sudden you've experienced, this empty kind of oneness. Anyway, the point being is the experiences are very real. I'll first start off my deconstruction by saying these are all experiences within the human mind. And as real as they are and as profound as they can be, to make universal declarations about the experiences is just an enormous error, in my opinion. I have no problem with people doing it. I just think they err doing it. Okay, so I'll get that out of the way. So now what's happened under this very specific type of capitalist thinking that came out of the Chicago School of Economics, which is an extension of fiat currency economics. You have this privatization ethic. And within that ethic, there's I can make money off of anything. If there's something to be made money from, we're going to do it. And what I'm saying is in this particular context specifically that you can think of a department of spiritual propaganda within the neoliberal central banking establishment, where they just take any spirituality. They don't care about spirituality. They just take anyone that they can, manipulate into making money from. And this is indeed what I'm suggesting is happening here. Can you imagine all the people in the Mossad basements and the CIA basements typing all day long, flat earth, flat earth, flat earth, just endless, nonstop spiritual bullshit they put out there. Misinformation, disinformation, really quite comical in a very sad kind of, if you're a fan of pathos in that kind of way. But in my opinion, it shows a kind of desperation, really, about who these people are and why they're doing what they're doing. Anyway, So you have now normalized into the mainstream mindset this now economic idea, or this spiritual idea transferred into economics. And what the practical outcome of what's happened here is they've normalized what I call a gig economy. Okay, so now through this process of normalization, it's okay that 80% of the planet now has no future. Just a day-to-day existence via a financial system that's predatory. That's it. Within the last 100 years, there were ways that you could have gotten out of that, conundrum, but they're becoming fewer and fewer. And as the elite suck up the wealth of the planet and destroy the middle class, the avenues forward out of this gig lifestyle of no backup, you're just on your own from day to day forever and ever and ever, amen. This, it's there's a certain nastiness to it, where once you could have gone to an academy and got a document, a PhD or something, that would be a way out of this day-to-day survival mode. Though that avenue is becoming less and less tenable, because under neoliberalism, they've just debt slaved you for life. Along with the debt slaving of education is the speculation on real estate. So now most people, 80% of the planet now, will never be able to afford the speculative prices of real estate now. You have that combined with the one thing that this group of people is very, very concerned about is the cost of labor. They don't mind anything going up, just enormous inflations. But if you make an extra penny on labor, no, can't have that. So you have juxtaposed to this enormous inflation by this system of thinking. And it's, in my opinion, it's a very lowly evolved, predatory, limbic system, reptilian type of thinking. There's nothing enlightened about it. And this is why I'm doing this video, because it's so disturbing that they've hijacked a very profound spiritual state and turned it into an economic mode. So you have, again, all the avenues that once could get you out of this day-to-day existence are all being cut off through the very people who are promoting this type of propaganda. Now, I guess I'll finish up by saying, what would a real spiritual economy look like, and not this fake one that's being put out by predators? Well, it would, first and foremost, it wouldn't be predatory, okay? It would, what I've come up with, it's called a golden rule global common civilization with 4 pillars: housing, food, education, and healthcare. And to survive the next 100 years in a sustainable way, a healthy, sustainable way, we would need to take those 4 elements out of this capitalist, manipulation, this forced coercion, predatory mindset. Now, I will say that if this was 1850, I wouldn't need to be having this conversation, because from 1850's perspective, you could argue that, there's abundant resources and, there's just, it looks all unlimited. But we know now that it's not. We know that resources are limited now, and that we're in a very, tenable situation as far as civilization surviving. And that's the context of my 4 pillars. What I'm saying is, let's call a time out. Adults call time out and say, okay, well, we're not going to survive. This is going to be a disaster. And let's bring in a new way of thinking, one that isn't premised on this type of what I call cynical misanthropy, It's also, at its finest, it's also Christian. If you interpreted the very best of Christianity. Now, I don't want to turn this video into the horrors of 2,000 years of Christendom, which I agree with, but within it, there was some very good ideas, as there were in Judaism, the Jubilee, as they are in Islam, not usurious. Usury would have to end here in the four pillars. Extracting interest on somebody's food, where they live, their education. This is sick. This is unsustainable. And to frame that this is okay within a spiritual worldview it's shockingly toxic. Anyway, that's about all for this one. www.andrewmarkmusic.com. Talking about the power of neoliberal capitalists now. Not peace out, peace the fuck out.